Good afternoon. Welcome to 30 Frames a Second. I'm the host, Greg Lassiter. Here to tell you that today is the last live show that we're going to have for the year. We have a great show for you. The creator himself, Nat Wood, will be here with me. There's a lot of things going on in the world today, so we'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Over the past few weeks, a large protest movement over the price of fuel has grown in the country. This movement led to significant demonstrations, as well as unacceptable violence in mainland France and in overseas territories. I want to say here that I do not affiliate these unacceptable acts with the reasons behind the protests. I do not affiliate rioters with our compatriots who wish simply to make their voices heard. I do hear them, but I will not give in to those who want destruction and disorder, because the Republic is both public order and freedom to express one's opinions.
What does it mean to be working class? Is that something from out of the past? Do we always gotta come in last? That's the question I'm gonna ask. What does it mean to be working class? Because today you say you're middle class. You can't pay the doctor, your car needs gas. You're still paying off your college class. What you owe your credit card is never passed. Still you're middle class this and middle class that. Upper lower middle class till you eat your hat, got the gap on your back, you got a little fat, you're still paying for the chair where you just sat. Is it all over just like that? Who stole the good life? Where's it at? Or was middle class just a little dream made up for you on your TV screen where everybody's comfy, or so it seems, and no one ever eats rice and beans? Because in the beginning there was just two classes. There was the elite and there was the masses. We did the work, they kicked our asses. Most everything passes. There are still two classes, those who got it and those who don't. We think we're gonna get it, but really we won't. Those who own the companies and make the big deals, every deal could cost you a meal, and for real, not too many people hold the power. They make $1 million while they take a shower. There's the owning class and the working class. Where are you at? Are you slow or fast? All you gotta do is do the math. If you got a job, you're working class. If you're out of a job, you're really working class. We build the houses, work the fields, we run the hospitals and fix the meals. We make the family and work at home. And sometimes that's the hardest work of all. We clean the office, teach the kids. Everything around us is something we did. No matter what your color or your name, no matter the country from where you came, the name of the game is still the same. And if the owner works, is he working class? Got his laptop and smartphone, he's moving fast. It all depends. first and last. If he owns a bodega or a little machine shop, he works for his money, and he works a lot. He might be working for everything he got, but the guy who owns the corporation, he could work all day. It won't change him. He might be a nice guy, he might be a jerk. He makes his big money off of other people's work. You can't make millions going to work and getting paid. You need other people's work to have it made. When we punch the clock, he owns the stock. We do the labor, but he gets the flavor. We make the honey, but he takes the money. Because working people make everything. We're the ones make the cash register ring. And when our work goes to someone else's profit, now you got it and you don't got to ask. That's what makes us working class. And if I talk about class just a little more, your TV says we're starting class war, but the real news has come and gone. The class war is always on. It has been here since the day you were born. We just need to know whose side we're on. If we don't know our own class, take it from the poet. We will always take a beating, and we won't even know it, because your TV is programmed by the owning class, your newspaper programmed by the owning class, your search engine programmed by the owning class. When we don't know we're working class, the owning class will kick our ass. They get a real free pass, because you get no health care, get lousy schools, the TV brings your kids up to act like fools, you get no union, you lose your job, you vote for politicians who think you're a slob, because we sometimes forget there's a bottom and a top, those who got it and those who do not. Better to remember, make no mistake, you're not an owner, you're a worker, and that's the breaks. And I bet there's nobody sitting right here who made $10 million just this year. So before I waste any more breath, before I talk myself to death, let me ask you to act on a fact that has come to pass. Your ass is in the working class. And before we get to another day, before we get to another day, when we open our mouths with something to say, before you speak and the words are gone, it's good to know whose side you're on and what it means to be working class. Is that something from out of the past? Do we always gotta come in last? That's the question we got to ask. What does it mean to be working class? And one last little question before I'm gone. Tell me, whose side are you on?
All right.
Welcome back to 30 Frames. Like I said, this is our last live show today, and we have so much to talk about. Paris is on fire. Can you believe that? Guys, if you don't know, Paris, is one of the countries that they have the highest rate in taxes. That's why everybody's protesting. They pay a really, really high rate of tax, even though they have socialized medicine and education is free. The tax rate is unbelievable all across the board. And they lowered the tax rate just on inheritance tax, and that's it. And that's why the people are freaking out and rioting. And the president of Paris went into exile. He is nowhere to be found whatsoever. Now, between Paris, as you know, Donald Trump has no right to talk about anybody, and he felt the need to make a comment on how the president of Paris runs France. The president of France runs his country, which I thought that could be kind of asinine. If you guys looked at his tweet yesterday, the guy couldn't even spell smoking. He said smoking. Well, with that said, welcome to 30 Frames. Nat Wood, what's up, bud?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
You know how it is, man.
Yeah, I don't think it was smoking. I think the word he was looking for started with an F.
No. He still spelled it wrong. It didn't even make sense. Paris. Paris is on fire.
Yes. First of all, let me make one thing perfectly clear. White people don't do silent prayer visuals.
America does.
No, blacks in America
don't.
does. No. White folks tear up the place when they lose a football game. White folks tear up the place when they win a football game.
Right. Looking for a reason for destruction.
Yes. We deal a lot with trying to empower the black community
That's
because
correct.
we're one of the few shows anywhere that even talks like this.
Right, exactly.
So you have to understand that just like they say when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia.
Right.
When the economy is completely screwed up, it's going to impact heavily on poorer communities, especially communities of color.
Right.
Color meaning the darker you are,
The more impact.
the more impactful the downside is going to be.
Right.
We wanted to go out with Professor Louis because
Professor Louis is the greatest, man.
He's one of the most profound poets anywhere.
Right.
And on 30 frames, you got to make the cut.
Right. And you shot that.
Yeah.
You shot that in Lower East Side, right?
Yeah. We do it all.
Right,
We
right.
actually do it all. We do the shooting, the editing, everything. He made one thing that I'll slightly disagree on.
Okay.
He said that there's two classes, the owners and the masses. I will take it a little bit beyond that.
Right.
There are two classes, those that fight and those that don't.
Right. That's a good way of looking at it.
Because even in the owner class, they're always fighting. They're always jockeying for position.
Right.
Even when they
For superiority.
Well,
Right.
it's all about all about the struggle.
Right,
It's all
right.
about like
Right.
fighting to get what you want.
Right. And
if you don't
stay
have
there.
it, right. And to consume anything that gets in your way to
Right.
make sure that nobody challenges you.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. It's called
they
white
just have-
supremacy.
Only in the sense that white folks are on top right now.
Right. Okay.
And they are fighting like hell to stay on top.
Right.
How this will ultimately shake out, no one knows.
Well, we pretty
see
much
things-
do know how it's going to shake out. Because Donald Trump, not to cut you off or anything, but Trump is not forever. Okay?
White supremacy is not forever.
Right. So, with that said, I'm going to predict this. Trump will resign. His sons will go to jail. His son and his son-in-law will go to jail. I guarantee you that.
Trump has done so much damage that it really it doesn't matter. And
do you
Trump
think-
supporters are more problematic than Trump himself?
Do you think so? Because I think once Trump goes away, his supporters go away.
Barefoot shooters, rednecks ain't going nowhere.
But they not.
You
They
know-
won't be as boisterous. You see what I'm saying?
That's all they have is
But
boisterousness.
before Trump, we always knew the rednecks were going to be there. They've always been there, but they weren't
with their muskets.
waiting on the revolution.
yeah.
But the thing of it is, once he leaves office, the rhetoric, we're not going to hear as much rhetoric that they can, like these rallies. The only reason he has these rallies is to rile the rednecks and the poor white trash people. You see?
I don't. Again, there are two classes: those that fight and those that just take it. I don't like to underestimate people who have been so atavistic for so long.
Right.
I am starting to believe that there are certain people that are indeed, as Hillary said, irredeemable. And I think it's more in the basket for them.
But do you think Trump has done so much that we can't come back from?
We as in
As
our
in-
lifetime?
No, I'm talking about we as in a nation.
No, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I think one of the good things about this period in time, I'm glad that Trump is president now and not president in 2008 when the world was coming apart. Or
The crash.
oh man, we'd all be.
Well, we're soup line. Soup line.
Soup line. We'd be eating out the dumpster. Those of us who are still alive, most of us, half of us, will be dead.
Do you know why? Because if he doesn't have the ability to do what Obama did to save
No, he
the
doesn't.
bank.
No, he doesn't. As a matter of fact, the things that he is doing now, the only reason why he does not have the capacity to bring us to that level again, right at that moment, is because there is nothing in place like subprime all over the planet. It's just low interest rates and deregulation that's has been fueling the market rise, but he's so stupid,
right?
You know that he's about to crash it when there was no reason to crash it, and he has upped the debt load
like a buttload,
like trillions, like $10 trillion.
Right. But
know?
see, but the common sense is.
Right now they're arguing about like $5 billion over a wall.
Right. A wall.
As we're doing this show.
A wall has no impact really on America. A wall is not going to keep out the Mexicans. The Mexicans
but
are.
the ass bucket he just spend money. He just spend money on stupid.
It's like he's spending money like he spent in his corporation that went bankrupt 6 times.
Right.
In America, you have to see this because the way he's spending 20 years ahead money.
Right.
So all you all you Trump supporters who doesn't have a job, you guys are going to die off.
Right.
You're not even going to be able to procreate.
And the downturn in the market, because it has been substantial. I don't know how it's going to. It's rare because they don't usually have this kind of sell-off right before the new year.
Right. I mean,
we're talking about a Christmas sell-off.
We're talking like downtown. Was it a couple days ago? 800.
Yeah.
800.
Yeah, 800 points a couple of days ago.
But the market. See, you notice that Wall Street is not challenging Donald Trump at all. He wants to be part of Wall Street, and they wouldn't let him in.
Well, Wall Street was very afraid of Donald Trump. Wall Street was more afraid of Donald Trump than they were of Bernie Sanders. They were both hard to predict.
Right.
And Wall Street does not like things that are hard to predict.
Right.
Donald Trump did a lot of things that enabled them to get a lot of money. The most important thing that was done, Donald Trump actually didn't do.
Right.
That was keep interest rates very low. Very
well,
low.
That's come from Obama. That comes from Obama. But here's the thing. Donald Trump wanted to be one of the Wall Street boys so bad, and they wouldn't let him in. That's why they were scared of him. But when he deregulated,
they were scared of him because he's a retard.
But he's a retard. But
he's an idiot.
Being president, they was like, oh, is he going to make it worse? But now that he thinks he's in, they don't even. That's why Wall Street is quiet.
He's made it very dangerous. Not that he's made it worse for Wall Street. He's made it worse for everybody else. But he's made it very, very dangerous. The total deregulation of all the stopgap measures that Obama put in place, he's eradicated. He's eradicated the fiduciary responsibilities.
That's exactly right.
In a lot of
That's
areas.
exactly.
So there's a lot of things he's done that's made it very dangerous in Wall Street for today. And remember, Wall Street is forward-looking.
Right.
It's not looking at now.
No, they're looking at down the line. Right.
When you're having this massive sell-off, Wall Street is saying that down the road there's going to be heavy payment for this.
Absolutely.
And I better grab my money now.
That reminds me, because when I got out of college, I was a stockbroker, and I used to sell a lot of options.
Right.
And we used to have that saying, he who buys what isn't his and buys it back, or goes to prison.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
And what's happening with Wall Street, everybody, the market is going to keep tumbling because everybody's like, we know he's so unpredictable
Right.
that they want, let me get, like, man, I'm the same way. Let me get my money out now and put it somewhere else.
Right.
Because the market is so, even though the market is cyclical, but it's volatile now. It's more volatile.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
last
Very
week it was up 1,000.
Right.
This week is down 800.
Right.
So, you know, he can wake up and all of a sudden, you know, your 401k that was worth $1 billion is now worth 100,000.
And volatility is schizophrenia, and schizophrenia makes people very, very nervous.
Right.
And the true effect of Wall Street is the psychological effect it has on everyday people.
Absolutely.
That's where the money is. When you're scared to have the masses,
that's exactly right.
where the money is.
Because the first thing, what happens if the market closes down 800, there's a run.
Right.
Oh my God, let me pull out of this, let me pull out, let me sell off.
Right.
Let me get my money out.
Right.
But what scares me is that the deregulation and the interest rates are so low, we can still have a subprime mortgage market again.
Right. We can have anything again. Anything goes.
And
there's no stopgap.
Right.
And
There's
you
no
can't do the same thing again. What they did, what Paulson and those guys did originally with the top, you can't do that again.
But what you can do,
you need a whole new plan.
But I'm saying, Obama and those guys came up with a plan to bail out the banks. Now, put everything in place so the banks like Wells Fargo, the mortgage companies countrywide can't go out and do these crazy ass loans to poor people.
You know,
but they can now.
Obama has done a lot of things that has pissed me off, but I will say this about the financial crisis and the decisions he made in that.
Was right on.
Not only was it right on, but he wouldn't have had to do it. And when you do, and Obama is testament to the fact that no good deed goes unpunished. They had already given all the major financial institutions billions of dollars.
Right.
Most of them they gave $15, $25 billion off the bat, whether they needed it or not. Just so that, just to reduce the panic effect.
Right.
Obama comes in. Now TARP is in place. And Obama comes in as the first black president, the people's president.
Right.
And the people are mad, even because they really don't know what has rescued their ass from the brink of the dumpster.
The world, actually, the world.
The whole planet.
The whole planet. That's exactly right.
We were this close to total meltdown.
Totally, because not to cut you off, because if Obama didn't do what he did, it had a lasting effect on the world. All world markets would have crashed.
Right. But where they turned against Obama was trying to do stuff for the people. All the financial institutions already had their money. Goldman Sachs had their money. Citigroup, who were 10 times, 1,000 times worse than Lehman Brothers, had their money. Citigroup was, Citibank was the evil empire.
not like Countrywide, not like Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo was just a dirty slave master.
Exactly. They even named their loans mud loans. Mud loans, right? Mud loans for who looks like mud?
Mud people.
The mud people.
Some sort of loan for mud people.
Right. That was black people, black and brown people who couldn't afford it.
In
their portfolios. Right.
What got Obama in trouble, because he wasn't the one, although he had a plan. No offense against McCain and that crazy woman, but they really had no way of dealing with this stuff, and it had to be dealt right away.
That's
Obama at least had a plan,
and he had some sense. He had sense.
He's smart.
He's very smart, right?
So
And he listens.
Obama, when he comes in, all he has to do is keep it going, but he doesn't have to. He could actually, if he was a better politician, he could have played both ends against them.
Right. That's exactly right.
But there was a problem. And the problem is that after they bailed everybody out, the fat cats and the corporations were going to get all of their bonuses,
Right.
stay in power,
Right.
and everybody else was going to take a licking.
Right.
Those homes were going to be foreclosed on,
Right.
and we were about to lose the entire auto industry
Right.
in America.
Right.
Obama comes in, he bails out the auto industry. The same people, the masses of people turn against Obama for giving money to the auto industry.
Right.
And that was totally about saving American jobs.
That's
that
right.
was not about saving corporations. That was already in there.
Where Obama fell short, when he could have said to the very people that got him there, he should have had them removed. That should have been one of the conditions.
He made a bunch of mistakes.
Right, but that was a big.
Made a bunch of
The chick
mistakes.
from GM should have been. She shouldn't be there today because he bailed her out. The same people that's running Citibank, Wells Fargo, all those other banks are still in place.
See, Obama had. I used to have that problem a long time ago that Obama had when he came in. Obama was just too fly. I was checking out the old pictures of him. He was young, cute. His hair was black and whatnot. He was calm. The chicks loved him. They was making little beach songs and putting it on YouTube. You know,
Right.
He was like the Daddy Mac. He spoke in a very calm voice, and there was sometimes, especially in terms of running the country, that he needed to be less accommodating and more dynamic.
Absolutely. I think the first term, he was trying to reach across.
Correct.
No, that doesn't.
Correct.
That
Correct.
doesn't work.
Correct.
It didn't work under the Bush regimes.
Correct.
So why did he think that he's a black man and come in there and going to do that?
Correct.
They fought everything. They didn't want this. Every time he reached across,
Correct.
smack his hand.
Correct.
So therefore, you only get to smack my hand once.
Right.
Then I'm going to say, okay. See, that's what killed me about a real brother. You only going to hit me once.
Well, that's the thing.
You only gonna hit me once.
That's the thing. He was supposed to put the smack down.
Right.
If he had really put the smack down, you wouldn't even have a Trump problem today.
Exactly right. So a little bit, I blame that a little bit on Obama because Obama, by the time he got a clue, was the second half of the second term.
Correct.
Which is too late.
Correct.
The damage is done.
And he still never really got a clue. He really never understood how to wield the power at his possession. He was always trying very, very hard to compromise and accommodate.
He was trying to
And there were
please.
times you have to realize that your adversary is intractable.
Right.
He's not going to change, and he's out to do you and destroy everything you've done, and that there's more at stake than you.
Right. But what got me about Obama, very charismatic, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Comes from the streets of Chicago.
Yeah.
So you know he has both street and education.
Yeah.
A lot like us.
Yeah.
So my thing is, when coming into the game, he knew how these old white men operated.
Yeah.
He was with them on the floor when he was a senator from Chicago.
Yeah.
So what made him think that he's going to come in and smooth these guys
He ain't
over?
a street like me. He ain't a street.
He's street like me either, but he came. Nobody's street like us, really, because we can walk on both sides. But my point is, he knew the game.
Right.
He came from the political game.
Right.
So what made him think that he could reach across the aisle when they smacked him down
he got
before?
elected. Everything that happened.
It's a slave
to
mentality.
Obama, well, no, everything. I mean, I can look at tactical mistakes and accept them for what they were, without just like lambasting the person or persons who made them. I analyze my own moves
So do I.
all the
Right,
time,
right.
all the time, and there are moves that I regret. There are things that I've lost along the way that I don't blame on my adversaries. because when I analyze it, they got over because I showed weakness, not
Right.
because they had a stronger
Smart.
hand.
That's right.
I
You just
should
stay
have
the
never
course.
let them beat me.
Right. You didn't stay the course.
I can't believe I let
Right,
them beat
right,
me.
right.
So Obama made a lot of tactical mistakes. They were mistakes for the right reasons, but they were mistakes because he did not analyze those factors sitting across the aisle from him trying to do it. He did not properly analyze.
But hold on, Nat. Hold on a second. That right there, I won't accept that he didn't know. I can't accept that. He's worked with these same idiots for 8-10 years when he was a senator.
The Bible doesn't say there are none so blind as those who don't see. The Bible says there are none so blind as those who will not see. So, yes, he knew, but he wouldn't accept the data because there were other factors that he wanted to believe in. First of all, you got to remember that the simple fact that he got elected was a complete paradigm shift.
Right.
The fact that so many people of color and close to, not half, but close to half of white America voted for him. All of this pointed to the fact that there was a paradigm shift in place. It skewed his reality. I think it still skews his reality.
But not.
I
I don't know because I mean, all said and done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing this.
And I agree with you.
I
It was
run
a
my-
terrible mistake.
I run
but
my
I can
own-
understand where the mistake came from.
But Nat, you know what? I run my own organizations. I came up through the ranks like he did. I came up through the ranks. But at the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, I don't sleep
But you're not
thinking that.
Obama.
But the thing is,
You're
but
not Obama. First of all, you're
the same age.
about
Same
like
age.
the same
We're
age.
the same age. We're like
But
2 days apart.
Different circumstances.
Right.
Completely different circumstances.
But he should know. But the America.
We're in a state now where my heart tells me that a lot of my community should know, but
sure.
act like they don't.
Okay, why though? Why? Nothing's changed. The game doesn't change. The game doesn't change. The players change. The game stays the same. You know, the game is no different than 20 years ago on how the world sees us. The game doesn't change. You live here. You live in this community. You need to. The same things that we're talking 20, 30 years ago. The rules still apply. Take care of your own community.
The game has eliminated many of the most dynamic individuals.
Right. Okay.
And co-opted what was left. And those it didn't co-opt is because they were too stupid to be of consequence. So we have a lot of people who are too stupid to be of consequence.
That's a good point.
And they say a lot of stuff that impacts negatively on our community.
Right.
They give a lot of stupid advice. They say a lot of stupid things. They got masses of people saying a whole lot of stupid things.
Right.
And everything has shifted. There's a lot of people who think this is not important, that is not important, this is not important. I've come to find out that every single thing is important.
Right.
There is nothing that
This
is
is
not
common sense.
important. Well, no.
Common sense ain't so common.
It's not common. It's not common. That's why, like I said, they eliminated the most dynamic individuals,
Right.
co-opted whoever they could co-opt, and what was left are too stupid to be free.
So that means they can control the dummies.
They control the art. They control the art. They control the science. They control how we see ourselves.
But they don't. They don't.
Look at the massive change in our artistic expression.
Right.
When you look at our artistic expression, black folks' artistic expression, I'm
Right.
speaking about
Right.
specifically.
Okay.
When you talk about rap, rap basically has three topics. They're either whining
Right.
about their condition, they're bragging about the fact that their condition is now improved over everybody else, or they're threatening people.
Right.
That's basically the only three things they
That's
do.
true. That's true.
They don't speak. There's virtually no expression of family. There's no expression of love. There's no expression of loyalty, of community,
Or longevity.
Or longevity.
That's the key.
There's nothing to bring us from point A to point B.
Right.
Not so long ago, everything we did was an expression of freedom and brotherhood. It was
Community.
brilliant. They've done research studies. How everything has exponentially been dumbed down.
Right. Right.
The average lyric now, because first of all, lyrics are written so that everyone can understand.
Right.
So the average lyric just 10, 15 years ago was about the equivalent, written for the equivalent of a fourth grader.
Right.
Now it's the equivalent of a second grader.
Right. Right. But Nat, just because this, okay, society in the music business, they supposedly set the standards, but they don't have to, because especially now.
Do you know how difficult it is to unstupid stupid?
It's virtually impossible.
You can
It's virtually-
ignorant, but
Yep.
it's hard to understand. First of all, stupid
virtually-
is belligerant.
Right, right.
You know?
Because there's no
Right,
understanding.
right. Stupid thinks it's a genius.
That's true, though. That's very true.
You know, so you have like cats that can't spell dog.
D-O-double-G.
You know, talking about that the next Langston Hughes.
But they don't even know. But half of them don't even know the history. You know, in order to, like, especially the music business, understand music history.
First of all,
You don't understand
there
which-
is no major artist,
None.
no major artist that did not understand
The theory of music.
history.
The
No,
theory.
not just the theory of music. I'm talking about every artist.
Right.
Whether it's a musical artist or
Just
a
art in
painter or a
general. Right,
sculptor.
right.
In order to really stand out, you had to know the history of the world.
Right. That's exactly
And you
right.
had to know what was going on in current events.
Right.
You could not be Michelangelo
Right, right.
or Da Vinci
Right.
or Romare Bearden
Right.
or Peary Thomas
Right.
or Langston Hughes or Zora Neale
Neale
Hurston.
Hurston.
You couldn't be anything or anybody. You couldn't be the Beatles. You couldn't be Lennon and McCartney.
Right.
You could not be anything if you did not know what was
That's true.
going on in the world, because that is where you got the majority of your inspiration.
Hence,
is
the greatest singer in the world, Marvin Gaye.
that is correct. That is correct. And the turning point in Marvin Gaye's career was what's going on.
That's right.
You
Yep.
know.
My brother. Yep. That's exactly right.
And it sent fear and shockwaves all through Motown, because he was turning the corner. But as an artist,
Right.
as a creative person, he understood that he had to go to that level.
But it's still
in
relevant
order-
today.
It has to be relevant today. The things we do. We have all of the skills,
Right,
all
that's right.
of the equipment to do a whole bunch of
Yep,
things.
that's
but
right.
artistically, if you don't know what's going on in the world,
It means
you
nothing.
cannot
You cannot, right.
really
Yeah.
achieve greatness
Right.
as an artist unless you incorporate what's going on in the world into your art
But
form.
like you
it's
say,
impossible.
in order to achieve greatness, you have to think of greatness.
You have to think of greatness.
What a man thinketh, a
That
man
is
is.
correct. That is
And that's
correct.
where we have to reprogram ourselves
That
in the
is correct.
community, that we come from greatness.
Right.
And we're not just because someone tells us we ain't this and we ain't that,
right.
and I know that's grammatically incorrect, but if you tell us that
Well,
You
ain't
would-
is in the dictionary now. So. And that ain't no lie.
It's true, though. It is. But my thing is, just because someone tells you that, doesn't mean you have to accept it. Especially as a.
Well, we never did. We never did because our greatness, our came from our condition, how we interpreted our condition.
Right.
And all of the things that's going on today, the water crisis in Flint,
So,
Michigan,
yeah.
the sewage crisis, and the Black Bottom, and
Alabama, Mississippi, somewhere like that. Mississippi, yeah. And nobody talks about that.
But all of these things were part and parcel to the condition of muddy waters.
Right.
They doing something that's they about to blow us up.
Out of the studio.
But you have to understand. Wow. You have to understand these things in order to advance in your art. If you don't understand these things in your art,
There's nothing to worry. It's live TV.
it's all right.
But you would think, especially African American artists, you would think they would keep it relevant of what's going on in the world.
Well,
I look at people like John Legend, who he's somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, John
You know,
Legend does some incredible things.
Right.
Common does some incredible
Yes.
things. He's a tremendous artist.
what's that guy?
And they're getting into film.
What's the other
a
guy?
lot.
That was in the White House.
There's a couple of them.
The White House guy.
There's
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, but if you're in the White House, it means that you have some handle on what's going on in
Right,
the world.
right.
You also have to have some handle on history, what brought us from point
Right.
A to point B. If you actually want to be really, really good.
But look at people like Kanye West, who's not relevant. I don't think he's ever.
Kanye's an idiot.
He's a straight. But you know who made Kanye? It wasn't black people. It was white people. Because he crossed
Kanye,
over.
well, no, Kanye has a knack for sampling genius.
But that's not originality.
I didn't say it was original.
That's not originality at all.
I didn't say that that's original. But I did say he had a talent for
Do
sampling.
you think he's a great artist?
great artist? No.
No, I don't even think he's a good artist.
I think he has moments.
So do schizophrenics.
He is a schizophrenic. But no, I don't think he's a great artist. But if you sample Shirley Bassey or you sample Ray Charles,
Right. That doesn't take genius to do that. If it doesn't take a genius to sample anybody's music.
But you don't.
You and I
it's
can sample
not
people's music.
required to be. They have dumbed down the community so much that the community itself is now rejecting its. It's like the snake eating its own ass.
Right. Okay. That's a good way of putting it.
You know, but that's how they have us. They talk about cultural appropriation.
Right.
In point of fact, art is cultural appropriation. The only thing that protects you from cultural appropriation.
Name an artist who does that.
They all do that.
No, I think there's one
They all
artist that
do
comes to mind.
They all do that.
What's that kid's name?
Anybody with a guitar and plays blues. is,
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, Bruno Mars is, first of all, Bruno Mars is part of the culture. Bruno Mars is Puerto Rican. And we've appropriated as much from the Latin community as Bruno Mars could. As a matter of fact, hell yeah, this brought Chano Pozo and all of those
Tito
cats.
Puente.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, that was Diz's thing.
Yeah.
Know your music.
Yeah. You're right.
Joe Cuba, you know,
Sheila Cruz.
They like took over
Right.
black radio.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were playing from the heart. This was part of their culture.
Right.
There's no way you can come out of Latin America or the Caribbean
And then not know them.
not be influenced by African music.
Carlos Santana.
As a matter of fact, if you want to know the truth about it, a lot of those countries are closer to African music than we are
Yes,
because
right.
they took the drum from us.
Right, that's
they,
exactly
they
right.
Had the
Right.
drum, so they
Kalimba.
had they had a direct
Right.
link to the music of Africa.
Right.
But no, what's the dude that plays the guitar?
Santana?
The old dude. Old white dude.
Bob Dylan?
No. But Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan was in love with Mavis Staples.
Right.
The Beatles love black music.
Right,
That's
right.
all they listen to
Well-
in Liverpool.
Well, look at Elvis Presley.
But we have abrogated our authority.
Right.
We have rejected our own culture.
Right, that's exactly right.
They could never take our culture because we had our culture.
Right.
And so you could never. How can I don't care what kind of like blues guitar you want it to
Right,
be.
right.
How can you go up against the soul of Muddy Waters?
Right, you
How
couldn't.
can-
You
right,
couldn't.
right.
The blues.
Right.
The blues.
How could Justin Timberlake or Bruno Mars or anybody else take the mic from Marvin Gaye?
Right, you
You
can't.
know,
It's just
how could Mick Jagger take the dance floor from James Brown?
Right,
It was
that's right.
impossible.
Right.
We
We-
controlled our
right.
culture.
We let
the
them.
answer to culture, the answer to appropriation, cultural appropriation, is to live your culture.
Yeah, right.
Make people want to steal it
Right,
because
right.
it's so
That's right.
dynamic.
Right.
We have completely abrogated
Right,
that.
right, that's
We're
right.
the ones that don't play any black music.
Nope,
You
that's
want to
exactly
hear black
right.
music? Turn on the country music channel.
No, that's exactly right. See,
You know,
that's one.
that's
But
on
you know
us.
what's funny? That's funny you say that because that's one of the reasons I started my own radio station.
Right,
I started my own
right.
radio station, GRadioNYC.com,
Right.
and so I can hear my own black music
Right.
because I control that.
Right.
And that's another thing. We have to control our own selves and community.
Right.
Because if we don't, other people will. Look at the content of television that we produce.
That is correct.
We
That is
control
correct.
that.
That is correct.
Nobody else controls that. We control TV. We control
Right,
radio.
right,
We control
right,
aviation.
right,
We
right,
control.
right.
We as a team control everything.
And if you look at the soundtrack of 30 Frames a Second, you will notice
Originality.
Right, but it's not just original; it's heavy into percussion.
Right. Right.
But the percussion is part and parcel to being a lifelong New Yorker.
Right.
Manhattan is an island.
Yep.
Manhattan was where every culture came, and there was one thing that linked them all together. That was the sound of conga. So
Yeah.
I don't care where you went. I
Right.
don't care where you
Right.
went.
That's right.
Whether it was the Jamaican community, whether it was the Latin community, no matter what park you walked past,
Right.
you could hear the sound of the drum. It
all
was
the time.
part
Yep.
and parcel
Yep.
to the Africanization of New York City.
And that's funny. I grew up in D.C. and the fellas we walked through the park, the brothers from New York was in the park
That's
playing
right.
the conga, playing
That's
the
right.
bongos.
That's right. And then you didn't.
Or the
You
Caribbean.
didn't have to have the. You didn't have to be able to afford the congas,
Right.
Because it's always been a creative art form.
That's right.
So you'd hear cats beating on joint compound buckets.
Right. Look on the subway today. Look at the subway.
Right. Or hitting on the chrome of a car.
Yep.
You know that they got from some sort of fender from a
Right,
car.
right. That's exactly right.
That is the sound of New York.
Right.
It's passionate.
Right.
It's original, and it's all linked to Africa.
Right.
We have abrogated all of that. We
Right.
don't even know what that sound is.
Right.
When you
That's right.
take away all when you take the niggers out the music, take away,
And the B's
remove
and the
all
H's.
the lyrics, remove the lyrics, and just play the music.
Yep.
There is no music there.
No, there's none. There's none. None.
You know, it doesn't become dynamic till they start selling the wolf tickets.
Right.
You know, or that's bad. You know. But as far as musically, it's devoid of any rhythm.
Right.
It's devoid of any melody,
Right.
and it's devoid of any link to anything produced by people.
That's right. That's right.
It's not even good in terms of dragging notes to the timeline.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
it.
it's just not.
Well,
it's
then
not
people-
smart. It's not good.
It's garbage. It's really garbage.
It kind of is.
Garbage.
It
It's
kinda
really
is,
garbage.
you
It's really
know.
garbage. It's really
I would
garbage.
have tried to be a little more
No,
delicate.
no,
than
it's
what-
garbage. Because you know what? I come from like you. I'm very musical. I play the piano and I play violin all my
Yeah.
life. And I take music. The first thing before I even picked up an instrument, I had to understand the theory of music.
Right.
I had to understand the history of
Right,
music
right.
before I even picked it up.
Right.
So that's what is lacking in the arts today. And it doesn't matter whether it's painting.
Right.
Or whether, like you said, whether it's instruments or
Right.
music,
Right.
you lack history and theory.
and music that's derived from Africanized people, and I mean Africanized people everywhere. I don't care whether they're in Malaysia
Right.
or whether they're in Milwaukee. You have to bring this thing called soul to the equation.
Absolutely.
There's a spiritual link to what you're doing that has to be evident in the product that.
I think that's indicative in everything. When we sit here from each other,
Right.
we talk about it with passion,
Right,
with
right,
soul.
right.
That if you, I don't care what you do in life,
right.
that is what you have to
Right.
bring. You can sit there and come from the Berklee School of Music,
Right, right.
and be
Doesn't
the
matter.
master. If you
Doesn't
don't
matter.
have, if you
Doesn't
just sit
matter.
there and play,
Right,
and with no
right,
soul
right,
and no
right,
feeling,
right.
it means
right.
nothing.
It means nothing. It means nothing. It won't be accepted unless you can immerse yourself in the art. Unless I have your soul bleeding in my hand,
Right,
and I
right.
understand where you're coming from
Right.
on a human basis, which is more than me first person singular.
Right.
Everything now is they're all three concepts have one thing in common. They're all first person singular.
There you go.
It's all me, I.
There you go, there you go.
And if you have no link to the rest of the world, you have no reason for being.
That's right, that's right.
Let me say this because this is the end of the year. I might as well give people something to bitch and
wallow.
moan about.
I knew this was coming.
There's a lot of people who talk about black first, and I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say this again. So anybody who don't get it, you should have tuned in.
Right,
I
right.
won't. I'm not going to belabor this. But I am not black first. I'm family first.
There you go.
I've always been family first. And it is my love of family that determines everything I do.
There you go.
If
good.
black people were the oppressor, I'd be fighting with black people.
Right.
Because I will always be fighting against oppressive forces.
Right.
Those forces that try to keep people, keep us confined
Right.
as a planet.
That's well said.
So there is a coincidental nature to me being black first.
Right.
That's because you beat the hell out of black people
Right.
more than
Any
anybody
else.
Right,
Right.
right. The ultimate determining factor of where the masses of people land in this world is how dark your skin is.
That's right.
In India, you can't get a job as a damn receptionist.
If you're my complexion.
Right.
My
if
complexion.
you're too dark.
Yeah, my
I mean,
complexion.
they burning the black off
Yep,
their ass.
yep.
And this is India, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, and they're darker than we are.
They're Africanized
Right,
people.
right.
You know,
That's right.
But in a country of Africanized people, as a matter of fact, skin lightening cream.
Right, look at
all the
Look at-
rage in Africa.
But look at what's his name? Sosa.
Right,
Sosa.
right,
What's
right,
his name?
right.
Sousa. Look at Michael Jackson.
Correct.
I
correct,
like one thing I do.
right,
I love
right,
this is
right,
black is beautiful.
right,
Actually, guys, you know what? Light skin ain't in anymore.
right.
Black is beautiful. Black is
Listen,
beautiful.
I'm sitting here with my two-tone face. I don't care about that stuff. But I've never cared
Right,
about that
right,
stuff.
right,
I've
right.
never been enslaved.
Right, right, that's exactly right.
Because I never had time to focus in on anybody except what I was doing.
Right, that's right.
So all the stuff that other people like go crazy
Like
about,
light skin, dark skin,
that,
yeah,
that
that's-
never affected me because I lived
Right,
in my
own
own
world.
world.
That's
Was
exactly right.
always like creating stuff.
Right, right.
So whatever everybody else saw or didn't see was
Doesn't
cool.
matter. It doesn't matter to
did
you,
cool,
right.
but that's not where I lived.
Right.
And I was always attracted to those people who did the same
Right,
thing.
that's exactly-
So I was always attracted to the gifted. I was always
Right,
like, you
right.
know. And it is no different now.
Right.
You know,
That's
I
the
still,
same. I'm the same way too. I'm the same way too.
That's why we
That's-
show Professor Louis.
Right. Because he's one of the most talented
He
guys out there.
earned the spot.
That's
He
exactly.
earned the spot
It's hard to
like
get a
me.
spot.
It's hard.
And guys,
I don't
and I
wanna
want to
be-
tell you,
you know.
it is hard to get a spot
Hey, listen.
in the Nat Wood family.
It really is. I've
It
put
took
some
me
people
10
on
years.
that I've hated to put on
Hey,
just
look.
because friends have asked me. You
Hey,
know,
look.
But I'm like,
Hey, look. Like I tell everybody, I belong here.
Right.
I just didn't, guys, I just didn't come in and sit down. I had to work to this spot. And you know what? Getting to the spot is one thing. Keeping it is another.
I respect the people that tune in. I appreciate the people who tune
do I.
in. But if nobody tuned in, it would not change the
Who we
way I do things.
still do it.
Win, lose, or draw, I only know one speed.
Right. We're going straight
to
ahead,
drive
baby.
in.
We're going straight ahead. We're going straight in.
And all we're going to do is try to get better and better and better and bring you better and better subjects.
Absolutely. And the new year, we have big plans.
Yeah,
Do you think we
yeah,
were on fire
yeah,
this year?
yeah.
Wait till you see the lineup next year.
We're not going to soften up.
No,
We're
no,
not
it's
gonna
just,
soften up.
you know what? I want to thank everybody for viewing us, watching us, communicating with us, just not on TV, just on our social media. We appreciate you. We love you guys. I want to say this, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And guys, I appreciate you, Nat appreciate you. I want to say this before we go. Remember this, guys, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you still are among the stars, baby. Go ahead, Nat, you get the last word.
It's Christmas. It's the year. It's the season for drunk Santa. and white people putting on blackface all over Holland, all over the Netherlands. Talking about dark Pete. The world is in a bind, but there are a lot of people who are exceptional. And I would beg those people to continue no matter what it seems the odds are, because you can't hold back a tsunami.
Right.
And times they are a-changing, whether Trump likes it or not. Again, thank you for tuning in. Did you give him the star speech?
Yeah, I just did. Shoot for the moon.
See, I never listen to what he's got to say.
See, I'm nobody in this.
It's only one ear out there.
Thank you so much, Nat. We got about 10 seconds. I want to thank our crew, Sheila, Veronica, you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't be us.
Yeah.
The Eminence,
Right,
Eminence crew, everybody, thank you guys. Thank you. See you next year.